Starting. Okay, do you have any doubt in the previous session?
No, not at all, as of now.
Okay, cool. Okay, today we will see. So, last class we saw what is a conditional statement and introduction to looping, the uses of
Yes.
looping. Today we will see how to achieve that. So, you know what is the problem for loop? We have discussed about a scenario designing a robot to fetch your milk packet every day. The same routines, a step and you are going to fix the start and end. If you are doing that, what will happen is now, for example, now the robot is going and fetching the milk. I wanted to schedule for 10 days starting from today. So let us take today as the count one. So it has fetched the milk and came, then it has to subtract that. I mean, it has to increment the 1 to 2, and it has to check whether the date is whether the number of day reached 10. Correct. So how this works is, first you will be writing count, first count, okay? And then the steps you know the same. Once the count, the number of the first day it is done, then count should be incremented by another one, and then it has to check because the end date is 10th day. So it has to check whether it reached 10 like this. No, it has to compare whether the number 2 is less than or equal to 10. If not, then the robot will go and fetch the milk and come. Then third day, it will increment by 3 and then it shake until it reaches the 10th day. The loop will be over and over. So this is what is called as a looping. Now we are going to see how we can achieve this in Java. So in Java, it can be achieved with three ways. One is the loop. First loop is called as for loop. Second loop is called as a while loop. Third loop is called as a do while loop. Okay, so how for loop is taken is, so first we will see how we will initialize the count. So looping is the same, no? Then where you will write the steps it has to do repeatedly. Third, how the comparison will be taken place. These are the things you have to learn. The syntax of for loop is, the for is a, sorry. So for is a keyword, okay? For initialize here. Since the count is a number, I'm going to initialize a variable I, but it can be different variable also. Just initialized with the number 1. So this is how the first thing is done. Then the condition here, we are going to check whether the count is less than or equal to 10. Increment, because it has to increment after each step completes. So here you will be writing the steps that have to take. First time, the initialization of count is 0. Okay, it will check whether count is less than or equal to 10. If it is less than or equal to 10, then it will does the step that the block, then it comes out. Now the count, it will not take the initial count. It will take the incremented count from the second time. Now from the second time, the count will be incremented by 1. So count plus plus means equal to count plus 1. This is the, that is, you are going to increment it by 1. So from time, the count will be incremented by 1. So it will become 2. And these steps will keeping on working till it reaches 10. When it is reaches 10, it will come out of the loop. That is the end of the loop. Okay. So let's write it in Java language and see how the for loop works. Okay, for the for loop, I'm just creating a new class. So let's declare for, this is the keyword, int I or any variable, and I wanted to print hello 10 times. Okay, hello is the step. I'm going to repeat the printing steps 10 times. So I have to check whether it is less than or equal to 10 I plus plus. To print, this is the statement. What I want to print is hello. Okay, how this works is, first time I is equal to 0, it will check whether the 0 is less than or equal to 10. If it is true, then it will print the step. It does the step. Step is to print. From next time, the incremented value I will be equal to 1, and then 1 is less than 10. Yes, it is, sorry, 1 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, it is true. So it does the step. What is the step? The step is to print the hello. So it will does that until I is less than I equal to 11. If I equal to 11, 11 is not less than or equal to 10. So it will come out of the loop. So you can write it as end of loop. Anything just for the statement, I'm writing end of loop. Okay, let's see. See, so you can see one. So if you wanted to know how many times it printed, you can print the I. So the variable, the updated variable value will be printed. You can say 10 times starting from 1, starting from 0, it is printing for the till 10. Okay, if you don't want to print 10, since it is, if you do wanted to start from 1 to 10, you can do it like this. So the initialization value is 1, and you are printing till the value incremented till 10. So it will be like starting from 1 to 10. This is for loop. So how the next method is while loop. How this is achieved is, syntax is, this is the keyword while, and here you will give the condition, the comparison statement. If the condition is true, then it will does the steps. Okay, where the count will be initialized is outside the while loop. Okay, and the increment is inside the while loop. Okay, let's do the same thing for while and see. So how the same thing you are going to convert it for while. So let's see how we do. First, initialization done. Use the keyword while. Do the comparison. The comparison is this one. Just copy paste. The step is printing hello with the value of I. Done. Where is the increment? Inside the while loop. And the end of the same output you will receive it. Okay. So this is while loop. We are starting with 0. Let's do it with 1. Okay. So this is while loop. For and while are just the same. But when you come to do while, there is a slight changes. In for and while, what is the thing is, first it will, from the first step itself, it check whether the condition is satisfied to proceed with the step. But in do while, for the first time, it will not check the condition. It does the step from the second time. From the second time, the value will get incremented. From the second time, it will check the condition and works. This is the difference. So for and while is the same. The difference here is do while differs from for and while is first time. For the first time, it will not check condition. It does the step even in the condition is returning. Okay. So what is the syntax is? Here for do is the keyword, open and close. Here inside within, near to the close bracket, we are writing while and then condition. Okay. And then the initialization is outside the do and incrementation is inside the do. Cool. So this is the thing. But the first time, even the condition is false, it does the operation. From the second time, it will check the condition and then do the operation. Okay. Okay, let's create one class for do while. So int I equal to 0, sorry 1, initialization, do is a keyword, condition is here while I is less than or equal to 10 and then so. So here it does the same work like for and while. So sorry, increment and if you're not giving increment, then it will be an infinite because it does not get false. So it will be like a infinite. It will go on. So you can say correct. Now same thing. Let me create another loop with variable j. So now if you see j is equal to 1. J is equal to 1. Okay. Now, for the do while, what it will do, it does the operation. It will print hello and then J will be incremented by 2. It will check whether the 2 is greater than 10. No, it's less than 10. It is false. So from the second time, the loop doesn't work. It comes out. So it will print only one time. So hello J. Let's see. Hello J, how many times it's print? See, hello J, it will print only times because it will check whether it is greater than 10. It is not, so it won't print. Now, if it is less than, then it will print all the 9th time. Okay, this is the difference between the for, while, and do while. Any doubt?
No, ma'am. Please repeat.
Okay, can we proceed to next topic?
Yeah.
Okay. So looping is done. What is the next we are going to learn is, so as you asked me in the first class, how do I save multiple value of the same data type? So this can be achieved using an array or collections. So these are the two ways you will be able to save multiple values of same data type. So the concept here we can use two things. One is collections, another one is arrays. So first let's say arrays. How we can save it in arrays? Syntax. So data type, array name. So here you have to, it's mandatory for the array to give the size. Either you have to, in the syntax itself, you have to give the array the declaration of the size. Otherwise, you have to assign the value in the first step itself. So that is a basic disadvantage of an array. Now let's create an array first. Now, okay. So I have created an array of the value. I have assigned the value. So the first step, how it works is, now see. So like a variable declaration only. So how, what you will do in variable declaration, you will create a memory location. Same thing, a memory location is created for the variable name A. But this is not a single memory location. This is a collection of memory. How many types of data is there? Is 5. So 5 racks will be created. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So variable A has a 5 racks to store 5 values, and each value will be indexed by a number called index value starting with 0. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So how the value will be read is A, variable A in 0 index, what is the value it is stored is 1. Variable A with index 1, the value stored is 3. Next is 4. Next is 5. Next is 6. Okay, so this is how the variable is assigned. How I can retrieve the value is using the index, like A of 4. So if I give A of 4, it will go and check the memory location A for the index 4. What is the value stored? 6. That will be printed. Now let's see. See, 6. Okay, so this is how the array works. You can do process the request also. Now see, in the result, I wanted to add all the values in the array, means A of 0 plus A of 1, sorry, A of 0 plus A of 1 plus A of 2 plus A of 3 plus A of 4. So what will happen is, it will retrieve the value in each index and it will add and give you a result.
Here we have to declare int result
Sorry, what?
for result declaration
Declaration.
for result variable.
You can also paste this like this also, but I wanted to save it in another result variable, so I am saving it, but the variable name can be any name. See, so result is 19. So this is how the variable, array works. Okay. Now you can also to find, now if you wanted to know how many arrays are there in particular thing, you know only the array name, but you wanted to know the length of an array, then you can write it. You can use the array name dot, like how you find the string length of the string to know number of characters, like that to find the number of rows in the array, you can find it using a length. So this will give you how many racks are there. See, 5. Okay, any doubt?
Here we don't need to use array bracket for length to print the length.
No, no.
Just a
Yes,
variable name.
and word is enough.
Okay.
Okay, correct. So this is how you will declare an array. So you can see in this first step itself, you are assigning the value. So the size of the array is static. You cannot add after that. Once it is added, it is done. Once the size is fixed, it is done. Okay. The other way of declaration is int a4 equal to new. Either dimension or an array. I think this size should be here. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I got confused between the thing. So the name should be different. That one I missed. So now see, this is another way of declaring the array. So here also the size of the array should be static. So you cannot, after this, you can assign the value using an index. So b of, now b of 0, sorry, b of 0 equal to 5. If I assign like this, how this works is, let's open the paint and see how it works. So this will create a memory location with the B and the size is 5. So again, for how many racks will be created is 5 racks will be created. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and the rack will be, as you know, the rack will be named with index. The first line after declaring, all this will happen in your backend. Done. How? So the next line is b of 0 equal to 5. B of 0, you are assigning the value 5. And what you can ask, what about all this? This all will be left empty and it will be not useful at all. So if you are trying to print which is not assigned, it will give you a 0 value. See, it will give you a 0 value. So even if it is not assigned, it will be assigned it as 0. And so these memory location will be wasted. So this is the disadvantage of array. Since the array needs a size or values in initial stage itself, so the user will not able to add any elements after that. So this is the major disadvantage. To overcome this advantage, they have developed something called collections. In collections, we have types of collections to use. In this sessions, we will be, in this,
Yeah.
we will
Just
see.
a minute, ma'am. Just go to the previous thing. Yeah. And what here int b array is? Can you clarify this line? Int b array.
This is a declaration of array. Like how we are declaring int a equal to 5. Like that array declaration is int array name. It can be, okay, let me explain it. Data type, okay, array name equal to new array name, sorry, in new data type. This is size. So this is the syntax. So that is the data type is int and array name I'm giving as B and square bracket equal to new. Data type is int and size of an array I'm declaring as 5. So for the location B, 5 racks will be created. Got it? Aishwarya, able to understand?
Hello.
Are you able to
Yes.
understand? Okay. So now the declaration is done. So now you are assigning to the rack 0 as 5 and other racks you are leaving it as empty. You are not assigning anything. But if you are accessing it, even if there is no value explicitly assigned, it will return you 0. So the disadvantage of array is you are declaring the size in the beginning itself. Even you're not assigning anything, the locations will be empty. Second
Why
is
can't we left empty inside that
you can leave it
int array?
empty. You can leave it empty. If you leave it empty, the system will assign the value as 0 to the left out tracks.
And what's the difference here between the A array and B array? Both are having different syntax. Anything else different?
No, both are same. Only the declaration is different and assigning is different. You are assigning the value in the beginning, but the size is already predicted since you are assigning in the beginning. Second is and then assigning.
Okay.
So the disadvantage was, so in order to overcome this disadvantage, we are going collections. So in this collections, in this course, we will learn array list and hash maps. So this will be taken tomorrow because I want you to be very confident with array so that when you learn array list and hash maps, you will not get confused. So I'll give the
And collections is different from arrays. Collections is
collections
different from arrays.
basically used to store multiple values of similar data types only. But the arrays disadvantage to overcome, we are using collections, meaning you will not tell the size in initial stage itself. You will be allowed to add whenever you wanted to add it to the dynamically. These things you will learn tomorrow. I'll give you assignments today for loops and arrays. Please go through and do the assignments. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, now. Bye. Have a nice day.
And one thing, tomorrow is weekend. When are we planning to get the session?
I'll
At
tell
the same
you.
time or?
Yeah, I'll tell you based on the plan because I may have weekend works. So based on inform you whether we have a class and at what time we have everything tomorrow morning. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Bye.
Bye. Take care.